Well, as part of that interview, Ms Sturgeon touched on her political influences, but dismissed the notion that Margaret Thatcher had been among them.
When I went to school here, Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, of course, and she was one of the things that motivated me to get into politics.
Why?
But because she represented a lot of what I thought was wrong. I went to school here during the 80s. Unemployment was sky high. There was a sense here that people of my generation, you could have been leaving school to go onto the unemployment scrap heap. There was a general sense of hopelessness, and so that's what Margaret Thatcher conjures up in my mind. She was damaging to the communities that I grew up in. So, she was a strong woman. I don't deny that for a second.
Could you choose one thing that you admired about her?
She was the first woman Prime Minister. I think she should have done a lot more to help other women coming up behind her. And I guess I'm now the first woman First Minister of Scotland. I hope that it won't be as long after I stop being First Minister till we see another woman in the job, because I will try, I hope, to use my position to help other women get more opportunity. So, Margaret Thatcher's no longer with us, and I was brought up to believe you shouldn't speak ill of those who are no longer with us. But, I didn't admire Margaret Thatcher at all politically. I thought she was deeply damaging for the community that I grew up in and communities like it. And in many respects, it was because I opposed a lot of what she stood for that I ended up getting involved in politics. So,
what about the politicians that are still with us? What do you think of some of those men that you had to face up to last night? And indeed, some of the ones that didn't turn up.
Well, yeah, David Cameron. Yeah, I think it says a lot that David Cameron is clearly not confident enough in his own record to come along.
Do you dislike him as a person?
No, look, I try not to make politics personal.
Oh.
In terms of I don't always.
Though, isn't it?
I don't always succeed, so I'm not trying to sit here and pretend
and
I'm
it's
some
not a
kind of
criticism
saint.
of just you. It's just generally, it's
absolutely.
difficult.
I think politics can be too personal sometimes, and don't get me wrong, I'm as guilty as anybody of that. But I try not to. Do I dislike David Cameron? I don't know David Cameron well enough to know whether I like or dislike him. He's always perfectly pleasant personally when I meet him. But it's his politics I don't like. I don't like the fact that he's pursued politics over the past 5 years that have hit the poorest hardest, that have hit women with children hardest. So I'll continue to attack his politics and his policies rather than attack the personality.
What about Nigel Farage? He's the sort of archetypal Englishman, I suppose, to some people.
Nigel Farage, I think, just tries to base his whole politics on scapegoating people and blaming immigrants. I mean, it's been striking. I've now done 2 leaders' debates with Nigel Farage, and there is not a single issue or problem that he doesn't try to relate back to foreigners. I detest.
You find that distasteful?
I detest that.